Why the hell do you look in the mirror and assume that you're so stupid? I mean, you probably are, because humans are stupid. But why would you listen to a colossal mass of stupidity, which is society? I mean, that's pretty stupid in itself. Stupid. See, there's a comparison that I can introduce to this. You see, human beings, as we know it, are still animals, right? But for some odd reason, we tend to restrict ourselves and not reach our full potential and operate off of our self-intuition, our self-voice, our inner voice, because of the inhibitions that we have that are influenced by society and the people around us. The reason why I mention animals is because when you think about it, animals operate in the ecosystem and they naturally do what is required in order to advance the ecosystem, or else they fall victim to natural selection. Now, the thing is that a lot of times animals, they just do. They don't think too much, they don't have a concept of identity, but the point is that a lot of animals, they just do. Like, for example, in Australia, I'm surrounded by a bunch of kangaroos, right? And kangaroos are very stupid animals. They cause a lot of car accidents in this country. People run into them. The kangaroo runs into the car on the road. Like they don't understand where they're going. They have no awareness. But the thing is that because their brains are so small, as a result, they just think fight or flight. It's very simple. And of course, it's good that humans are more intelligent, generally speaking, but it can also have a detriment as well because we tend to avoid reaching our full potential and actually listening to who we are and acting that out in the world. Whether it's you want to work a certain job that fits you and your personality, but your parents may not approve of it, or you want to move to this country, but you feel like you have to stay here because you have these friends, etc. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. But it isn't until we realize that we actually shouldn't listen to society for the most part when it comes to this sort of stuff, because you'll never be able to embrace your individuality if you don't put a barrier, put a boundary on the people and the world around you, and really just take a look at yourself and figure out what you want, who you are, and where you want to go. You see, I'll mention a personal story that I have. On my mother's side of the family, we come from a background of immigrants from the Middle East, aka Asia, Western Asia. And I'm not sure, where your family lineage is from or your background, but if you didn't know, a lot of families in the African continent and the Asian continent, it's very strict when it comes to education, fulfilling certain job titles like being a lawyer or a doctor or going to school or getting married at this time, because a lot of it comes from our history of immigrating to Western nations and us trying to have our place. It's kind of like a sense of approval. I mean, there's other reasons too. It's also a big thing back home as well. But the point being is that in my family, it was really big as well. And every single time I did something that was a little bit different, that diverted from the norm a little bit, they would immediately try to put me in check. And I'm just a kid, but there'd be people like relatives doing that. It's like, who are you talking to? But the point is that I've experienced a lot of this as well, but they're actually projecting. They've been conditioned and programmed to fulfill a certain role in society and as a human being from their parents and their culture, and they're just projecting that onto you. That's all it is. And the thing is that you have to recognize it, you have to break free, and you also have to accept the fact that you're probably gonna face some ostracism and you might be exiled, or you're going to be seen as the black sheep of the family. You might receive a lot of public shame from your family because they decided to do this career when they should have done that, or they're a failure because they didn't go to school. It's like you have to end up accepting that these are probable outcomes, and it's not fun. But the cost of following their script that they laid out for you is going to be even more harmful in the long run for yourself. You see, and the one thing I notice actually nowadays, like just in recent years, is I notice more so women are actually becoming very good at breaking free from the script that society tells them, such as like, you have to raise children, like that's all your purposes in life as a woman. Or, you have to tolerate bad behavior, or you have to do this and that, or this. I feel like a lot of women are breaking free, and has it gone really far to an extent? Sure, I believe so. Like, I think there's a healthy medium that we can reach, but I think actually men have more problems when it comes to us breaking free from the script. Because us men, I don't know why we think we have to be this role and this role and that role, like it's too strict and there's no fluidity. It's like, bro, you don't have to become some six-figure earner just to get a woman and have a kid. My point being is that if you don't want kids as a man, or you want to travel first and have kids much, much later and not force yourself in your 20s to settle down and have a house because society told you to do that, then by all means that you should do that. Like, you shouldn't just follow orders that society laid out and thinking that it's going to be a major source of fulfillment. Maybe you have to explore or wander the world and travel for a few years, or maybe you have to try out these unconventional things that your family or friends may not approve of, such as taking up some hobbies in art to see if you actually enjoy art. Or it can be anything, man. But us men, we need to do better at that. It's like, man, we're not just providers or ATMs. Like, people who actually like you for who you are don't care that much about your money. As long as you have the character, then it won't even matter, because if you have the character, then it's probable that you're gonna get the money anyway. So that's what you should be looking out for. You're not just some provider for, like, that's not how it works, my guy. That's not how it should work, at least. You know, you're just becoming a slave to other people. You're becoming a people pleaser, and you're disguising it as a sense of being heroic and responsible. Like, sure, I mean, I understand being a provider as a man is extremely pivotal, but my point is that you shouldn't neglect yourself in the process and do it just because you follow society's script. You should do it because you actually want to, and that it actually makes sense for you at that point in your life. And the thing is that, like, you don't really owe society anything, because nowadays in the world that we live in, they don't give you that much. Like, I'm being serious, they don't give you that much at all. Like, we live in a world where there's just so much corruption everywhere, and all these institutions and all these higher ups. It's come to the point where most people are realizing that they have to actually fend for themselves and be hyper independent, because no one and no system is actually looking out for them. So with that being said, what's the point in trying to contribute so much when you've been given nothing? Like, you don't owe them anything. You should just become valuable as a person, build your own little community, your own little family, your own little tribe, and then you're gonna reap the benefits of that. Society only wants you for their selfish needs. They want your attention. They want your consumerism. They want your power, your attention, like they want your energy. Like, especially as a man nowadays, they're trying to dangle these vices in front of our face. They're trying to tell us who to be, what to, it's like, nah, it's not good, man. So how do you break out of these roles? Well, you have to understand that as a child, you're basically a sponge, and you pretty much absorb everything around you, and all the identities and the beliefs that have been instilled in you since you're a kid in your formative years. Those things will probably stick with you the rest of your life unless you seek to actively break them. And I think a really good way to do that is to throw yourself in the void and be vulnerable, because by doing that, you're basically putting yourself on the line. You're stripping yourself of everything that you've known about yourself and the world around you, and trying to make it out of that fire. You end up crafting new identities and belief systems, because it's like you're changing your circumstances by taking new pathways, and that in turn will change the neural pathways inside of your brain. And so I think that's a big way to do it, because it's like, if you take a risk, for example, on a business, a lot of times you're gonna fail, but say it actually ends up working out, then you have essentially rewired a lot of your brain. Like, now you basically believe that you're capable of making money without needing an employer. Or now you're able to take risks and have them actually work out. You've basically proven to yourself that you're capable of making a change when no one is there to help you. That's one example. One thing that made me realize all this, I can give a couple examples of nature. So in Canada, I was nomadic as well as now, but in Canada, I was living in the mountains called Jasper. It's a beautiful mountain town, national park. And I remember I went to this stargazing exhibition because in that mountain town, it has one of the most visible skies in the entire world. Like, you can see planets, nebulas, everything with the naked eye. It's insane. And it really was insane because when we were looking through the telescopes and we were looking at these stars and these nebulas that were trillions of light years away, the one thing that really shocked me is that we're seeing them through the telescopes, yet they've already exploded. Those stars have already disappeared. But since we're so far away, it hasn't actually registered on Earth yet. This made me realize of how minuscule and how small we are compared to the entire universe. So it's like, why are we allowing systems that are made by man? Why are we allowing limitations that are created by man to hinder us and restrict us and prevent us from reaching our full potential? I mean, the universe is literally infinite. This is just my experience, what I noticed when stargazing. It's like there is absolutely no limits. It's like it's man-made, it's fiction. Now, I understand that there's a fine line between being realistic and unrealistic, but a lot of our beliefs are unrealistic because they're created by man, when there's literally an infinite world out there. It's like, why are we listening to labels that this invisible fortress has created from a system that's man-made? It just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And to contribute a final point, the reason why you shouldn't listen to society is because when you actually abide by society's rules, you actually, let's say you complete all the milestones. Let's just say you acquire the resources and you achieve the status and you fulfill the obligations that society has laid out to you. Well, actually, you're probably not going to be given a lot of reward from society. There's a whole plethora of reasons why, but oftentimes it's because each person has their own subjective perspective on you. And by fulfilling society's roles, you're not going to please pretty much anybody. You can't please everybody. Oftentimes, it breaks their subjective perception of you. And the thing is that this is an arbitrary existence and we give it meaning. So why are you embracing the meaning that is assigned by society instead of cultivating your own meaning, which is more aligned with your path? It's basically counterproductive to just adopt the role that the outer world has given you. It's like, how does the outer world even know who you are and what you want and how to live your life? It's just, I don't know. I just think it's not really conducive to yourself to do this. So I think the biggest answer to this, which is what I did by solo traveling at 21 years old with no support system and just throwing myself into the void. The biggest solution, honestly, is to just jump into that void. Find a way out. Find the way out that works for you. Embrace your stupidity, in quotations, because what does stupidity even mean? We simply fear what we don't understand, so we just slap a label on it. So just do you, man. Do you.